Fan Frenzy. Fan Frenzy, that's right. The podcast where you guys direct the conversation. And if you didn't get a chance, make sure you listen to the main episode this week because we had Chris from Dr. Autorad on. How fun was that, Tristan?
So good to have someone different on the pod.
It is, yeah. To disagree with us, tell us that we're wrong, tell us that we're right. I like to hear that we're right a little bit more than wrong, but yeah, no, it was wonderful to hear. And thanks for some extra questions for Chris this week, which
was good. Thanks to everyone who fired those in for us.
Very much appreciated. Well, as always,
Fan Frenzy,
you're the man.
Let's get into it. Nat Pollard's our first comment off the rack. Race ranking of 9.5. I think Martin Brundle summed it up well when he called it a racer's race. Good comment there. 3 to Lewis, great drive, collected another record along the way, 9 wins at Silverstone, yes, beating the records of 8 previously held, including himself. 2 to Oscar, drove so well despite being shafted by strategy. And 1 to Max, he may be an aggressive, ruthless driver on track, but he's so calm and insightful when interviewed. I could listen to him discussing F1 all day. It's a really good point, Nat. I like Max off track. I don't know how you can't like him off track.
The old Max... It was a little different to this Max, and I have been saying
pre-world champion Max.
I've been saying to some people, it's like, oh, you know what? We put Max under pressure, and we get some results to go against Max, and we'll see what sort of Max still exists. But I couldn't agree more. He was really calm. He came in a calm manner because, I mean, he hasn't always been loved in the UK.
Yeah,
with the big incident with Hamilton in 21 and all of that. But and he had a little incident with a UK favourite the week before, but he came in a really measured manner and he spoke good. Beautifully, and I couldn't agree more.
You know, I loved his comments where he said the most important for him is maintaining that relationship with Lando. Like, he dismissed all the noise around it from the media and just said, you know what, that's what matters most to me. And I think that was the comment that diffused everything for everyone, and they were like, okay.
Yeah.
We'll relax.
Yeah, that was good. It was good. Good call.
Dud of the day, McLaren, head of strategy. Don't fear the double stack and get your tyre choice right. Hero of the hour, Bono, for his comment, I wasn't crying, I had something in my eye. And Nat's comments around Bandcamp.
So we asked the question.
We asked her about Bandcamp last week. She said, I was there as an instructor, teaching, conducting the string ensemble. She used to be a military musician, but now focuses on community music and music education. Bugle is her twice-a-year instrument, and she mainly plays bigger things like trombone.
There you go. Twice a year, Anzac Day and Remembrance Day would be my guess.
That's good. I have no musical talent at all.
My
brother does.
You take that back. You spend a lot of time humming and whistling.
Oh yeah,
sometimes at annoying times.
I just like to make noises.
Yeah, sometimes it's really annoying. But
that's musical.
You do a great job of humming and whistling.
Musical now. Highly musical.
Yep.
Yes. Very good, Jason Carter. Race ranking of 9 out of 10. Lately, I've been wondering if DRS is too important in making a race interesting. This race was exciting when DRS was off. 3 to Lewis, credit where credit is due. 2 to Oscar, got shafted by team strategy and still performed tough for a young driver to question decisions that came from their engineers. And 1 to Nico, 22, Hulkenberg that is. 22 points for the year in a team that got 12 points in 2023. Dud of the day, McLaren strategy. Double stacking is not that expensive in F1. Should have brought Oscar in. Everyone was excited that McLaren had mediums at the end of the race. Why put softs on? Could not agree more.
Why?
Could not agree more.
What were they thinking?
Chris comes next. 3 points to Lewis. Still the wet weather master. 2 to Oscar. Would have won if Brown had double stacked them. And 1 to Max. Drove well when things were against him. Dud. McLaren again. I know that we have a huge McLaren fan in Paige Pearsall that, I don't know, I don't read ahead for Fan Frenzy. I just read them as they come in, but I'd be interested to see if Paige has jumped on this week or how she's sleeping. There's your segment. How are we sleeping?
How's Paige sleeping? Oh, that's good. I like that.
Interesting.
I like
that. Race ranking from Chris, a 9.3? 9.3, I think he's got there. 9.3. 9. Oh,
3.
Sorry, 9. I've read that wrong. 9, 3 evenly matched teams at just the right amount of rain to race fully without safety car or race stopping.
Good point.
It was nice not seeing a safety car, wasn't it?
It would have ruined the race.
Did you notice last week, just on a side topic, did you notice how the graphics disappeared last week?
Oh, in the sprint race.
Because I found myself this week, in the last 10 to 15 laps. I was not watching on track. I was
You're just
watching the
watching gaps.
timing
Yeah,
gaps in the graphic.
yeah.
I didn't realise how much I needed
Yeah.
the graphic on the
I
left-hand
didn't
side.
this week because I was a little tired after a big 40th. I didn't set up. I usually set up my iPad
Yeah.
to start the race when
Yeah.
I start the race because
Yeah.
you can start it on delay. And I didn't get around to it this week, and I was desperately wishing I had because, it gives you the gaps when sometimes they go to overall gaps and, they go to tyre choices and all sorts of things. So, sometimes I was left wanting
I
more.
needed it. With all the change, question from Chris, with all the changes coming in 2026, is there anything more important than making sure cars can go in a lot heavier rain than this? A lot of the best races have weather involved in the last 5 years, and making it so there are a few safety cars and race stops when the heavens open up is vital, in my opinion. Couldn't agree more with you, Chris. It was a couple of years ago where we didn't have any wet weather running, and I was of the opinion that we need to deliberately schedule races in winter time around the world.
You were? That was my idea.
Oh, we both were.
No,
I would have mentioned that too. But anyway,
that was one of my big initiatives.
we needed to do
let's
that.
go
But yes,
find spaces.
but yes, Chris, I couldn't agree more. Like, we need to not be afraid of the wet at all.
But, I mean, it's not like they're not trying. They just can't come up with a solution.
No.
It's all about the
Yeah.
spray. The cars can stay on the track. Cars staying on track isn't the worst of what we've got. It's the lack of visibility with where this spray of water comes from and where it goes. And it just, that lack of visibility is the biggest problem at the moment. And they keep on coming up with ideas and throwing them out because they don't work. It's an interesting one.
Matthew Roberts. Well, it's the 10 out of 10 race of the season so far. I couldn't agree more with you, Matt. It is the 10 out of 10. I love his summary here. We had a race leader swap from overtaking, multiple actually. We had wet, we had damp, we had dry, we had a few offs, we had some teams messing up strategy, tyre management, non-tyre management, Ferrari floundering, Checo doing what Checo is doing. Mercedes just turned it up over the last few races and getting back to race wins. And you know what, Matt, you could also throw in the Haas as well and what Hülkenberg is doing there too. I couldn't agree more with him there with the 10 out of 10.
I like the justification of his.
Yep.
That was very
really
strong.
good.
Very
Duds,
strong.
McLaren strategy with both Oscar and Lando. Checo again at the back. Time to let Yuki have a go. 3 to Sir Lewis Hamilton. Just great racecraft and hopefully got his spark back. 2 to Max. Couldn't turn it on in the first half, but with the right tyres, made it for an incredible finish. Spot on, Matt. One more and he wins that. And 1 to Hulk for putting the Haas where a Haas shouldn't be. I think we kind of need to just say this is actually where a Haas is now. Kind of, as fans, it's good. A Haas shouldn't be there, but it is. So maybe we need to get comfortable with that. Question: do you think Lewis is regretting signing for Ferrari now that Mercedes is showing pace?
No, we talked about this in the main episode, but I think it's a change he needed anyway. He needed that change. He needed that freshen up. They might be on for a world championship with his pace, but I think it's still a change that was required. I wouldn't throw Ferrari have not performed this year as of late, but they certainly were within that hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if they find that spark again before the end of the season.
Yeah,
but it seems to be pretty close between the top four.
Jordan's up next. Race ranking of 9.75. Would have been a 10 if we actually got a Hamilton-Verstappen battle at the end. I think both Lewis and Max showed the likes of Lando exactly why they're multiple world champions. And just the way that they managed and made decisions and all that kind of stuff. 3 to Lewis. As a certified non-fan of Lewis, I genuinely enjoyed seeing him win this race. I totally agree. I found myself getting a little bit emotional watching him get emotional too. I'm not a Lewis fan. But I loved it too. 2 to Hulk, another really quality weekend from him, and 1 to Sargent, because he actually had a decent weekend, and there probably won't be many more chances to say that.
Good point.
Dud of the day, many to choose from, but I've got to go with Perez. It's just painful to watch. Jordan's question is, why is McLaren making consistently poor strategy calls, and how long until it's sorted out? I feel when we go to Hungary that they will have sorted out, Jordan, because from Andrea Stella's comments post-race is that we don't need to actually keep asking this anymore. So I would be shocked if we have a poor McLaren strategy call next time.
But it's not a deliberate move.
No, it's just they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, so you can't necessarily fix these things overnight. Yeah, it takes time because they're going to have to review what's going on.
Yeah.
Why are they making poor calls just a touch too late? And how do you improve your system to make that happen? It feels like they're just a little bit too slow on making the right call. So can they speed up communication? Do they have to be a little bit more aggressive with their calls? There's a few things that goes into this. I don't think it is a quick fix. I think it's going to take some time. And
I reckon next race they'll be straight out. I liked what Oscar said. They've got the hard part done, which is making a quick car. So,
I could not agree more.
Simon Ling, a race ranking of 10 out of 10. It had everything wet, dry, multiple leaders with multiple passes on track for the lead. Home race hero eventually coming out on top. Couldn't ask for more. 3 to Lewis, brilliant drive and really took his opportunities on track. 2 to Max, probably shouldn't have been second, but maximised everything available. And 1 to Hogg, putting that Haas above where it probably should be. Hero of the hour, the weather. Being just wet enough that slicks could still almost work, really raised the jeopardy and made this interesting. Dart of the day, everyone Leclerc and below. Too far behind the field, which is shocking for a Ferrari and Red Bull driver in particular, with the rain allowing free choice of slick compound. Oh, sorry, that's it. I've flowed into his question there. Question. Well, he didn't have a capital letter. That's what threw me. I thought he was still writing. Question. Question from Simon. With the rain allowing free choice of slick compounds, does this race add more weight to the theory of just letting teams use whichever compounds are best for them? Seems to make things closer up front, rather than forcing them to use a minimum of 2. I don't mind that. Just the decision just to do as you please, because that's going to work for you. Because you might get a mixture of stops there. You might get a 2-stop, a 1-stop, a 3-stop. I don't mind that, Simon. That's a really good point.
No. If you do that, you're completely removing the conversation around tyres.
Dean Hall agrees.
Which is fine. But like, I don't know, if you go down that track, are we removing the whole idea around tyre strategy talk?
Yeah.
That's fine, because talking tyres is quite boring at times. And it's annoying, and so no, I don't think I'd be quite willing to go down that path yet. Maybe. Don't know. We saw that wonderful battle at the end with 3 drivers on 2 different tyres.
Yeah.
4 drivers on 3 different tyres. I think that helped a little bit, but I don't know if that was because it was compulsory. Obviously not, because of
Don't know. Simon Blackburn, banger of a race, 9 out of 10. Dud was McLaren's strategy, threw away a 1-2 finish, and his votes: 3 to Lewis for a very wholesome win and great tyre management, 2 for Hulkenberg for really stepping it up in the Haas, and 1 for Oscar, making a good recovery on mediums after the strategy fail. Question: how much pain is Charles Leclerc pain? It's a lot of pain. That's a lot of pain.
Just when he thinks he's back on track. Like, he was... They were going to be the contenders, weren't they?
Made a deal with the devil for Monaco's win. I wonder what price he's paid for that. It's a lot of pain.
They were going to be the contenders, and they have dropped away severely.
It's a little bit Rubens Barrichello pain. It's a little bit of Valtteri pain. It's a little bit of Mark Webber pain. Just sort of all rolled together into one, not separate. Just all mixed in together pain. Who else is someone that's had a really painful F1 career? Where it just doesn't work. Just Williams as a team pain. You throw that in there.
They've had plenty of wins over time.
Mix all of them just as a team in the modern era.
Recently, yeah.
Mix them all.
It's not that bad. It's not that bad.
Rich Energy pain. Rich Energy was your sponsor.
I think you might be overstating it a little bit.
No, it's pretty painful.
It's
pretty painful.
It's not that bad.
It's Seb, end of the year's Ferrari pain when it was just spinning. Remember, it's Seb at the Hockenheimring pain. That's
I think you'd.
That's pain.
I think his proper pain was when he had the potential to be in a championship and then it dropped away.
Yeah, I think.
Whereas this year, he wasn't ever in the championship. It's just they were showing positive signs, and now they've dropped away. and been overtaken, and then a few things have come back in. But
Hockenheim,
I think you might be overstating.
I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember if it was Hockenheim or Nürburgring. I've got them both mixed together.
I reckon Hockenheim.
It could be Hockenheim, but I feel like I've got that wrong.
Who knows?
It should be Nürburgring. Anyway, but it's that kind of pain,
it's not that.
Simon.
No, he's overstated it a lot.
No, I don't
Things
think
aren't going well for him.
What
but
do you
it's not
think,
that bad.
Simon? What's your measure of Charles Leclerc pain? Shane Freer, 9.5 out of 10. Great race. 3 to Hulk, fantastic all weekend. 2 to Oscar, got royally screwed by the team and 1 to Lewis. Honourable mention to
Why don't you give a point to Oscar?
I don't know. Alex Albon and Lance Stroll. Stroll deserves a lot of crap, but is closer in quality head-to-head than what Lewis and Oscar are to their teammates. Question, Behrman to Haas, right or wrong decision? Right decision.
I'm okay with it.
Yep, me too.
It's the second driver I'm concerned about.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I think Haas is ready to take on another rookie. They got burnt big time they went from 2 rookies to 2 very experienced drivers, and now I think they might split their strategy on this one.
I think so too. Just a side note, do you remember when Shane was throwing bulk shade at me?
Yes.
For like weeks on end, and the sort of return serve. He's not really responded, has he?
I told him. It's on.
He hasn't responded.
He was hoping you were going to turn up to the party.
He hasn't responded. In person.
He can't. Yeah, he came with kickboxing gear on, hoping that you were going to come, and it was going to be on for young and old. No, but it was good. It was good, the return.
I haven't heard anything.
I enjoyed it.
I haven't heard anything from him. So
it sounds like you're throwing shade again.
Well,
you're looking for trouble.
I'm just saying, like he just sort of openly bullied me, and then when I was like,
sounds like you're looking for trouble to me.
I'm just saying, like
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm just throwing it there. I think I'd go well in a fight.
You don't?
No, not at all.
Oh God, you'd be the worst. You'd be the worst fighter I've ever seen.
I wouldn't fight anyone openly. I wouldn't openly do that ever.
I reckon I'll back your young fella in against you when he hits 12.
Yeah. 12.
Yeah.
Deceptively strong, like dad's strength. I have a mate at work who goes to the gym 24/7 and has arms like fridges. But we joke that he has show muscles and I have dad muscles.
Oh, right.
Because dad's strength, as you know, dad's strength is a whole nother level of strength. Like, you ever tried to brush teeth with a 3-year-old? Like, try doing that as opposed to lifting 150 kilo barbell.
There should be an Olympics.
I tell you what.
There should be a dad Olympics.
Oh,
did you see?
Shouldn't there be?
Did you see Australia won the latest round of the wife carrying championship?
No, I didn't know that was a sport.
Yeah, you can carry your wife in
I
a
didn't know
race,
that was a
and
sport.
there's some obstacles and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, Australia's done well. Well done today.
I tell you what, get the weightlifters, get the Russian weightlifters, and get them to take something out of a 3-year-old's mouth that shouldn't be in there. And I'll tell you what's easy to do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, lift that barbell above your head, that's for sure. So anyway, that's...
Everyone has their skills.
Dad strength is a whole different level to show strength.
I like it.
Just throwing it out there.
I like it.
Dean Holt, race ranking of 10 out of 10. Best race so far in what's becoming a fantastic season. I think we had a bit of everything. It was also incredible seeing the top 3 all in one shot with about 10 laps to go. 3 to Hamilton, just drove a perfect race. Now a 9 times winner of the British Grand Prix. Also love seeing the emotion at the end. 2 to Hulk, incredible back-to-back 6 places. Can't believe I took him out of fantasy team about 4 races ago. He's now also outscored Perez over the last 6 races. Correct. 1, very close to giving it to Max, but I'm giving it to Williams, finishing 9th and 11th. And Alex had a damaged car. There you go. Dud, unfortunately, I have to give it to McLaren. Screwed up on strategy and could have had a 1-2. Definitely should have double stacked on the first round of stops. They also left it very late to decide on which tyres they were putting on Lando's car. The pace Oscar had on the mediums was incredible. Question. You might have already discussed this. How much longer would you give Perez and who would you replace him with? As Red Bull have been a little fortunate in the constructors because Ferrari, McLaren and Mercedes have now been taking points off one another. But personally, in the tests they have coming up next week, I'd have Liam, Dan and Yuki all there, and the one that's the quickest over 1 lap and a race distance gets a seat. In Hungary, a possibility for the second half of the season. Yes, Dean, we did discuss that. So, yeah, we think Dan. We think Dan, but obviously Red Bull have to wait for that clause for Perez to kick in before they can make that call. Whatever that clause is, I don't think that what has been reported is the actual clause. So anyway, wait and see. Adam Hughes, race ranking of 7 out of 10. Could have easily been a 6.
I've got a feeling Adam does not any longer like Formula One.
Yeah.
It concerns me.
Could have
I'm worried.
7. Could have easily been a 6, but the rain added, and I missed the deadline last week and gave Austria a 9 out of 10.
Oh.
FYI.
Oh,
Right. There you go.
Oh, that's pleasing. It's warmed my heart.
All right.
I was worried.
Question back, Adam. You've given it a 7.
Well, we want to get Adam on at some stage.
Yeah,
soon,
you've
so
given
it might
it
be
a 7,
question
and
directed
it could have
to him.
been a 6. So, Adam, I want to know... All right, so you got 7. I want to know 3 things, Adam, that would have contributed to those 3 additional points. So you've got 3 points, you've got 3 additional things you want to make it a 10. I think it's a 10. Lots of people think it's a 10. What did you give it, a 9, 9.5? I can't remember.
Yeah,
So when we get...
9.
Yep. So next pod, Adam, I want you to come back to Silverstone. I want 3 points that have contributed to those 3 moments that will contribute to those 3 points and what would have made it a 10 for you. There you go. 3 to Oscar. Could have easily won the race. Quick, but that boy is backwards, and the team put him to the sword to make him stay behind, and he still clawed it back. Yes. Couldn't agree more, Adam. That opening stint has gone under the radar, and he should have been let through. 2 to Max, drove a difficult race and was under 2 seconds from the win in the end. And 1 to Lewis, the only Brit this year to earn a race win. Dud of the day, how can it not be anything but McLaren? They will do anything to protest Norris and do anything to protect Norris and led by a clown. Webber should be talking to Mercedes for Oscar Piastri to be the replacement. Oscar needs to get out of this team. Whew. And Checo, the worst teammate Red Bull has ever had. They must put DR in that car. 2026 regs must come in Audi, and it is important to them. Question. Is Yoss the key to Red Bull's downturn? Suspected leak in the Horner files, the push to resign Checo, the constant media leaks, having Marco in the pocket to stir up stuff. Is Max just the unfortunate golden goose? Yoss was a tool back in the Benetton days as well. Don't know, Adam.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yes is the answer.
Yes, yeah.
Yes is absolutely the answer to that.
I mean, there's good F1 dads. Lewis is a great F1 dad. Jenson Button's dad was a great F1 dad. Checo's dad is a great F1 dad. They're good F1 dads. I don't know.
Adam Norris.
Ollie Behrman's dad looks to be a good F1 dad. Carlos Sainz's dad is a good F1 dad.
No, I'm absolutely... Yoss has to stay out of it. His son's old enough to deal for himself. It just has to go.
Who else was singing of that banned their family from coming? There was someone a few years ago now that openly banned their family from coming. I can't remember who it was. Name escapes me. Anyway, yes. I hope we're good F1 dads. I hope I'm a good F1 dad.
You practicing?
Yeah, I practice.
I imagine you would need me as a sounding board.
I think
just to keep you calm.
Yeah.
I think it'd be an entourage thing.
Oh, man. Absolutely. And my lovely other half, she'd be there. She'd be there at race.
She would be a bad F1 mum. She'd be nervous. A very nervous F1 mum.
She would be a nervous F1 mum.
And she would require a lot of calming down, I imagine. Yeah. She's beautiful, your partner, but that'd be my impression. And I don't think my partner would even turn up. I don't think she would even turn up.
I worry that she would be there, but I wouldn't be able to find her. She'd be down in Dan's team. And I'd be like, we're racing. Yeah. She'd be out with the celebrities, I think. Until race time. And then she'd be in the sheds race time. Yeah, I think that's where she'd be.
Yeah.
Yes, no, good points. Would need a lot of calming down. I think it'd be the wrong person to calm her down.
I think I've just missed something.
Have you? What have you missed?
Adam Hughes gave Lewis Hamilton a point.
Yeah.
That is revolutionary.
It is revolutionary. Did
you what I was doing is I was putting in the points for everyone else.
Oh, that's right. I wondered what you've been doing.
Yeah, and I realised as I was putting in his point, I'd missed that part. I don't think I've ever heard him say a good word about Lewis.
Yeah, right.
Huge.
There you go.
I'm a little concerned that I'm going to have to go back and fill in points for the past. Because what we're seeing here...
You did promise.
No, I didn't. I promised I wouldn't.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
But what we've got here is that now Lewis Hamilton is actually leading the World Championship.
Just after a single race weekend.
Yeah, after one race weekend, he's leading by some distance.
Oh, boy.
And so I think I might actually have to put in the time and effort to go and retrospectively go back through all of our questions.
See what you've done.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to go back and fill in some points because
you're not happy with the way that it's...
No, well, I just can't have... Just because Lewis has now scored a decent race, all those races early in the season aren't going to mean as much, are they? So that's what I'll be doing with my day tomorrow, is going back through all the fan frenzies and putting in all the points that everyone has recommended because, yeah, it's the only fair way to do it. And you know me, I'm pissed off about it. Nah, it'll be all good. It'll be all good. I'm very interested. To see what.
Well, that's what
I
happened.
think this is the way to do it.
Yeah, that's
I like
fair.
it.
That's fair. All right, why don't you get AI to do it for you? Like, to use like a Chat GPT and be like,
go back through all our fan frenzies and put in all the points.
Yeah, see if it works.
I'm lucky to have the spreadsheet in front of me, man. As if I'm going to be able to make AI do it.
Yeah, I know. You're not. Yeah, I mean, you are tech savvy, but
not in this.
Some things will
not in
lose
this
you.
world.
Last one, Sam Pearsall. 3 points to Hamilton. A great weekend and a nice bit of closure to his Mercedes career. And I'm winning is 3 more points to Lewis. 2 to Hulkenberg. Had his pit stops and strategies perfect. And 1 to Aston Martin. Apparently, I can award 0.5 drivers to both. So, yes, I can do that. Sam. Not setting the world on fire, but both drivers is better than Perez and Leclerc. Yeah, don't know. It's 1 point worthy.
No,
maybe.
It's definitely not.
Maybe. Yeah, don't know. Data of the day, McLaren's strategy. While Ferrari's strategy was arguably the worst at times, it's just significantly worse that McLaren bolted Piastri's race first and then put Lando in an awkward spot. If you want to fight for constructors, you need to do better. Poetry in motion. When Perez spun out in Q1, the 2 drivers to witness it were Ricciardo and Tsunoda. Can only imagine those 2 thinking, why can't I be in that car? Question. We've had a Verstappen win, a Sainz win, a Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Hamilton. 4 competitive teams is great. So with your Justin Watts bookie hats on, is the next member of the 2021 Winners Club Perez, Piastri, or someone else? Not Perez. Piastri. Piastri is the next one.
Perez win early in the season? No.
No, he hasn't won.
He was just going okay.
I think it was second, third.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to say Piastri because I don't think Perez is good. No, I'll tell you what, Ricciardo was the next race winner for this season.
Oh, you did say put your J. Watts bookie hat on.
No, because he's going to step into the Red Bull. And he's going to pick up the pieces and off he goes.
I see. Yeah. He's going to do a Max Spain.
Yeah. That's it.
16 or something like that, yes. Yep. Right, I see what you've done there. Very good. That's Fan Frenzy for this week.
Outstanding.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll be back after Hungary. Can't wait for Hungary. Goodbye now.